DreAllDay.com.
How to avoid sexual assault allegations. Now, I'm making this episode while I am at the same time placing a futures bet. For those of you who don't know what that is, that's a bet. You bet on something that's going to happen way into the future, not like the day before the game, but way into the future. Like you bet on a certain team winning the championship in sports 10 years from now, if they even allow that far ahead. That's a futures bet. So I'm placing a futures bet right now that your host will never be faced with a sexual assault allegation, because I'm going to talk about how to make sure it never happens to you. So it has never happened to me up to this point in my life, and I'm betting that it will never happen to me in the future. And if it does happen to me in the future, then somebody's going to find this episode and it'll go viral on the internet. This guy made an episode talking about not getting a sexual assault allegation, and look at him, now he has one. So if this clip is going viral 20, 30 years from now, then I set myself up for it. So we know that most sexual assault allegations are usually going against men who have in some form a level of status. That status may be wholesale status, meaning the whole world knows that status, like a famous actor or athlete, or maybe relative status, meaning you have status in your office building or in your company or within your industry, even though most people don't know who you are. So these are people who are known for some level of celebrity, again, local or widespread celebrity, known for the amount of money they have made, again, local or widespread, and they have a position or status that they hold, or they have some combination of all of the above. So if you're the CEO of a company that has 300 employees and everybody works in the same building, you may be a nobody when you drive home and go to the grocery store, but you're the man when you're walking around that office building, because everybody knows who the hell you are, and you're a man, and there are women in there, and you have status, you have power, people know that the company's making money, and because of that, you may be accused of sexual assault. Usually the people who get accused usually have some combination of status, money, notoriety, right? So usually is the form of a heterosexual woman and a heterosexual man, right? This is not gay on gay. It usually doesn't, at least if it does, I don't hear about it. So for any man who is already in this position or will be in this position in the future, this episode is for you. And when I say this position, I don't mean you've been hit with a sexual assault allegation. What I mean is you're in a position of having power, status, money, and people have some idea of the fact that you have these things. See, it's one thing if you have power, status, and money and nobody knows about you. You have power, status. Well, you can't have status with people not knowing about you. Status is relative to what people know. So if you have power and you have money and you have some level of status in the eyes of certain people, you could become a target for sexual assault allegation. Let's talk about how you make sure that does not happen. Point number one. Today's topic, once again, is how to avoid sexual assault allegations. Number one thing you need to do to avoid these allegations is show me the Carfax. Show me the Carfax. What does that mean? There's this company out there called Carfax. Many of you have probably heard of them. They used to have commercials all the time. I don't know if they even still exist, but y'all may remember the commercials. Carfax is a company basically saying you want to make sure if you buy a used car, you don't buy a car that has been beat up or damaged in a way that was not disclosed to you. So you go to Carfax, and Carfax will find out the real history of the car as opposed to what the seller of the car is telling you, because they may be leaving some stuff out. We'll tell you the real deal about the background of that car so that you are an informed buyer and you can decide, do I really want to buy this car now that I know the true history of it, or do I not want to buy this car now that I know the true history? So show me the Carfax means that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So when you are dealing with women out here, men, you need to get the Carfax. You need to find out what the hell is happening. Find out the real history of the women that you may be engaging with before you dive into the pool. Now, if you get what I'm saying. All right, their very job is to find out, Carfax's very job is to find out the history. So anything that happens in the future is not a surprise to you. Does everybody understand this? This is what the Carfax means. You need to get the Carfax. And a lot of men out here, at least the stories that I've seen from the men who actually get caught up in this nonsense of sexual assault allegations, the biggest mistake that a lot of these men have made is that they simply did not see the Carfax. They didn't demand to see the Carfax, and then they end up getting burnt in the end. I don't feel bad for you. You ain't asked to see the Carfax, Shannon Sharp. You ain't asked to see the Carfax, Russell Brand. You ain't asked to see the Carfax, Conor McGregor. And you got burned by a woman who didn't show you the Carfax. And she's not supposed to show you the Carfax. You're supposed to go get the Carfax. So you need to know where she's been, who she's been with, what her past looks like, and the background and the character of that woman. So you are not surprised by any of her behavior in the present nor in the future. Now, with even all of this said, let's be clear about something. because some of you men may be thinking it, and even you women may be thinking it. I'll say it. It's impossible to completely predict the behavior of another human being, because somebody could have a clean slate up to this point and then do something crazy tomorrow. This is true. At the same time, the more background information you get on a person, the better you can predict what they will do in the future. Number one indicator of future performance is past performance. So that's why you want to get as much information as you can about what this person has done up to this point, so you can make the most informed possible judgment about what they might do in the future. As of this recording, the NBA draft is coming up, and not too long ago, the NFL draft took place. And when the NBA and NFL drafts are coming up, I'm sure this happens in baseball and hockey as well, but I don't follow those sports nearly as much. The scouts for the teams that are considering who they're going to draft, the future prospects, the future of the league, who they're going to draft, what do? We know what they do. They do a ton of research, a fuck ton of research on all the players that they are considering choosing. Now, why do they do so much research when there's so many available players? They do all that research because these teams are about to make multi-million-dollar investments in players. So I'm not going to make a $10 million or $20 million or $100 million investment in a player or in anything. I'm going to do as much research as I possibly can on that thing I'm about to invest in, so I know exactly what I'm going to get. I want to know exactly what I'm getting, exactly how it works, and exactly what may happen with this thing. I want to get as accurate a prediction of future behavior as I can possibly get. So I'm going to do as much research as I can. This is the same thing you all need to be doing. I'm not saying you need to take 3 weeks and do a draft analysis on a girl that you met on fucking Bumble, but you do need to do you do need to get the Carfax. And if you don't get the Carfax, it's your fault, man. Men are the leaders of society. Women are the followers. And if you're a man and you end up getting burnt by a woman, literally or metaphorically, is because you didn't get the Carfax and it's your fault. Or you didn't read the Carfax and it's your fault. Or you read the Carfax and you still got fooled. That's still your fault. It's always your fault. Everything is your fault. I'm not joking. Everything is your fault. If you fail to accurately predict future behavior and that behavior ends up biting you in the ass, no pun intended, then you are still responsible. Why? Because you're the one, after all, who bought the used car. Or if you bought a used car even after getting the Carfax and the car ends up being a piece of shit, well, you're the idiot who bought the car. Yeah, they fooled you. I get it. Well, you're the idiot who got fooled. Or either way, it's your fault, no matter how you want to slice it. Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is how to avoid sexual assault allegations. Number 2, land the plane safely. This is one you don't hear a lot of men talk about. I've heard some men talk about it, but they don't talk about it in the right ways. Or those who do talk about it in the right ways, they don't say it often enough or loudly enough for everybody to get it. So let me say it. This is one that I've seen bring many a man down. I've seen a lot of men get brought down by this one, violating the second point. And almost every time a man is pulled down by a sexual assault allegation is because they failed to follow through on this point right here. Landing the plane is a metaphor here, by the way. I'm not expecting you to fly a plane. And you often hear this metaphor in the public speaking realm. And in public speaking, here's what it means. It means to complete your thought, complete your statement, conclude in a way that everyone understands what you just said. Everyone knows that you are concluding what you are saying, and you are now yielding the stage or the microphone in an organized and in an articulate way where you have compendiously made your point and you're passing the mic back to whoever asked you the question or to the next speaker or to somebody else on the panel or whoever it is that you're talking to. That's what landing the plane means. It means you have to close your statement. You open your statement and you close your statement. That's what landing the plane means in speaking. I find a lot of public speakers fail at landing the plane because they are never made aware of the concept of landing the plane. So they just start talking, but they don't know how to stop talking. They know how to start their statement. They don't know how to end a statement. Landing the plane is just as important as taking off, folks. You can't land the plane. Eventually the plane's going to run out of gas. You're just going to crash as soon as the plane can't fly anymore. That's not a good idea. And what a lot of speakers do, they just keep going and going and going until somebody forces them to stop. Not a good idea. When it comes to men dealing with women, what does landing the plane mean? It's a metaphor that means that if you're going to end relations with a female, whether it's a woman who you were dating for some time, whether it's a wife you are divorcing, whether it's a one-night stand that is only going to be one night and she was maybe expecting 2 or 3 or 30 nights. If you're going to end your relations with a female, end them in a way that no one feels used or violated, done wrong, embarrassed, or humiliated. That's what landing the plane safely means. Let me say this one again, because I know a lot of men who have violated this, and at your own peril, you violate this one. In your relations in a way that the woman does not feel tricked, used, done wrong, embarrassed, or humiliated. There have been so many stories of this. I just had to pick one. There was a former college football coach by the name of Mel Tucker who was coaching at Michigan State University, who had a woman whose very job was to come to schools and preach to male athletes about how they're responsible for making sure that any teammate they see doing something wrong sexually with a girl, that they're supposed to intervene and stop it. And her whole career was based on, this speaker, her whole career was based on the fact that she claims that she was gang raped in college. Now, there was no proof of this. There were no legal charges filed, no lawsuit, no nothing. She just claimed that it happened, and her whole career is based on, I went through this experience, so I'm qualified to talk about this thing. This bitch might have been lying the entire time. Well, let's assume she was telling the truth. Let's assume she was telling the truth, and this is how she got her career. She had gone around the schools and spoken. She went to Michigan State and spoke, and she starts a professional relationship with the head football coach because he spoke to the football team. And her and the head football coach start having some personal conversations that are not professional, and they were kind of feeling each other. They were having a good time talking to each other. It seemed like they both were attracted to each other. At some point, the woman, however, comes out and claims that this man was sexually harassing her and sued him and said that he had been harassing her sexually because one time they were talking on Zoom and he allegedly started pleasuring himself while they're talking on Zoom together. And in the process of suing him, this man basically has his contract, which is for a lot of money. It's nearly $100 million he lost because his contract got voided for this situation that he was accused of. And the whole time she's just trying to get money out of the guy because he had given her money a couple times for some things that she needed. She didn't really have any money and she was just trying to get by. So she was going to him for money. And I guess at some point the well dried up of him giving her money. And she decided, okay, you're not going to give me money. Okay, then I'm going to go turn you in. And she told on him, sued him, and ruined his fucking career. And he lost a lot of money in exchange for that situation. This kind of stuff happens when a man fails to land the plane properly, or you took off on a plane that you never should have flown the first fucking place. I'd say, Mr. Mel Tucker, I did a whole episode on this. He should have never flown that plane in the first place. This is a plane you shouldn't fly. A woman whose whole career is based on claiming that she was gang raped, I say stay away from that. All due respect. I say stay away from that just based on that. Just based on how she got her career and what she does for a living, I say stay away from her. Don't do it. And women who have these kind of thoughts of feeling done wrong, embarrassed, humiliated, they will find ways to get revenge on a man through other means. Because see, when two men have a problem with each other and I feel like you did me wrong, I'm just going to wait till I see you and I'm going to try to beat you up physically. Because men, we can handle things physically. I'm not going to talk about you. I'm going to try to beat your ass. Or kill you. I mean, men have the physicality to do this and the instinct to do it. A woman, on the other hand, does not have the same instincts nor the same physicality. So what a woman can do is try to get you in other ways that are not physical. A sexual assault allegation is a really good way to bring down a man who has status, power, fame, money, etc., and get yourself paid in the process. Most of the women accusing men of sexual assault are scorned in some way, and they're trying to get revenge for some reason. All right, that's where it starts. A scorned woman trying to get revenge is how sexual assault allegations happen most of the time. The woman just trying to get revenge. And some people may be listening to this and saying, Dre, you're downplaying when there's real sexual assaults. I would say, okay, I will take that point fairly. And I'll say, I'm still making my point. When a man who has power, status, and is noted for money gets a sexual assault allegation, it is often in this format that I'm laying out. A woman feels used, scorned, humiliated, embarrassed, and she's angry. And she's looking for revenge. And that's when she comes with that. Whether it actually happened or not, we don't know. I'm not talking about whether it actually happened or not. I'm saying the ones that I see, when it's someone with these things, these trappings, usually this is the reason it occurs. Now, whether they actually did it or not, is it irrelevant to today's topic? Is irrelevant. Now, does it actually happen? Sure, it happens. Does it happen as often as the accusations occur? No, they don't. I'll say that one too. So, men, your job is to do a better job of ending your engagements with whatever woman, even if you always intended to end it from the beginning, and you believe that she knew what the deal was from the start, it's still your responsibility to land the plane safely. Because if you fail to land the plane safely, she can come after everything that you got. And everything that made you somebody from the beginning, the very things that made you somebody to the point that she knew who you were, she will try to destroy all of that on the way out the door simply because you sent her out the door. That's why you got to be careful. That's why you got to read the Carfax. Gentlemen, you see how I put all this stuff together? You got to read the Carfax up front. Don't choose the wrong woman to engage with. There's another woman out there with nice tits and a fat ass. If it ain't going to be this one, pick a different one. There's a bunch of them out there. Get on the internet. Go outside more often. You can find another one. Read the Carfax. Because this is exactly what will happen. And you ain't got to take my word for it. I'm giving you the stories. Shannon Sharp was allegedly about to sign a $100 million deal for his media platform. Some OnlyFans girl he was messing with, who's like 23 years old, that he found, who knows where he found this girl. She's advertising her ass on the internet. And there's a million girls advertising their ass on the internet. Shannon Sharp chose the wrong one. And now, because he didn't read the Carfax, or he didn't bother to look at the Carfax, it probably wasn't even in the Carfax. He started dating this girl when she was like 19, so she ain't had no Carfax yet. And he didn't read the tea leaves or the developing Carfax. Now he gets sued for $10 million. Didn't read the Carfax, Shannon. All right, this is how you mess up. Men not reading the Carfax. A lack of male discipline. I did a whole episode on this, on the epidemic of the male lack of discipline. And I just did this episode. And first of all, episode 3338. Things the disciplined man does. And then episode number 3324. The male lack of discipline epidemic. I've been talking about this stuff for a while. Carfax, gentlemen. Number 3. Careful, and today's topic, once again, is how to avoid sexual assault allegations. Number 3, careful mixing sex with power. You have to be careful doing this. Now, let me explain what I mean here, because some of you may say, well, Dre, I have power. Will you tell me? Not have sex? No, that's not what I'm saying. This is one that is usually present every time this assault allegation is made public. P. Diddy, who's on trial right now. By the time you hear this, the trial has concluded and we have an outcome. I don't know what that outcome is as of this recording. But P. Diddy, he had power and he was having sex with someone who was underneath the umbrella of that power. So I'm not saying don't have sex because you have power. What I'm saying is be careful having sex with anyone who is under the umbrella of your power, because they can use the fact that you have the power against you as by saying, oh, well, the only reason I had sex with him is because he had power and he was controlling my career. So I thought I had to. So he assaulted me, even though the bitch was planning it the whole time. There's a woman at Fox Sports, at least the last I checked. Her name's Joy Taylor. There was a lawsuit that came out. Joy Taylor is as of this recording, working on TV. I don't think Joy Taylor provides much substance to conversations about sports. She has no background in sports journalism or anything. Somehow she worked her way into this TV deal, but we have an idea how. Joy Taylor was friends with a hairstylist who worked at FS1. And she would just talk to the stylist as friends. Any of you who's ever worked as a stylist or esthetician or barber, you tend to build relationships with your clients because they talk to you because you're sitting there working on them and it's an intimate type of job. So the hairstylist claims that Joy Taylor told the hairstylist, the woman, that Joy was having sex with her boss, this guy who worked at ESPN named Charlie Dixon. Charlie Dixon is an older, generally, no disrespect, Charlie, if you're listening to this, generally not that very attractive, kind of fat white guy. No, it's not nothing visually interesting about this guy. If you saw him walk by, you wouldn't say he's the kind of guy that can get in any girl that he's not that kind of guy. He ain't that guy. Let's just say that. Charlie, no disrespect. And Joy was having sex with this guy. He was the boss. And because he was the boss and because she was having sex with him, she was finding herself moving up in status within the organization because he was placing her where she wanted to be because she was trading sex for this career advancement, which is not a crime. Now, according to the lawsuit, though, at some point, Joy tried to basically tell the hairstylist, hey, you should kind of get in this game as well because you can make yourself some more money, get yourself some more status, more positions, et cetera, et cetera. I'm playing the game, you play the game. Now, Joy didn't say those exact words, but this is, again, all according to a lawsuit levied by the hairstylist. And Joy then, and the hairstylist basically said, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not getting involved in that. And when Joy tried to bring her into that world and men started trying the hairstylist was pushing them off, not literally pushing them off, but saying, no, I'm not doing it. And she ended up getting fired from FS1. They basically fired her and stopped hiring her to do hairstyling or to do the makeup because she wasn't playing the game. And she was pissed off about that. So she brought the lawsuit. So you see what a scorned woman does? Now, at the same time, what was in this lawsuit is that the hairstylist claimed that Joy Taylor, the girl working on TV, told the hairstylist that, yeah, I'm having sex with the boss and I'm just going to use him to move up in my career. And if things ever go wrong between me and the boss, all I will do, she already had it planned out, all I will do is claim sexual assault against the boss. And because he's the boss and because I'm just this little damsel in distress worker, they'll side with me. I'll get him fired. I'll sue the company and make myself a bunch of money and I'll be good either way. She already had the shit planned out. This is what happens when you don't read the Carfax on these women. And guess who? And this is just a lawsuit. This is just a lawsuit that came out. I don't know what ended up happening with the lawsuit. I think they probably settled it out of court. But long story short, for all of this, the hairstylist still does not work at Fox Sports anymore. Joy Taylor still works at Fox Sports. And here's number 3. What do you think happened to the man? Yeah, you guessed it. Fired. This is the game, folks. That's why you got to be reading the Carfax. What Charlie Dixon did wrong is that he mixed sex with power. He was having sex with one of his workers, and she used it against him. This is present almost every time. If an allegation is made against a man who does not have much power or is not noted for having resources, it's not news because nobody cares. Those ones I often will believe are more real because somebody is making a claim that they don't really have anything to gain. And especially if it's not a lawsuit, if it's a criminal case, that's a different story. Criminal case and a civil case are two different things. Criminal case, you're trying to send somebody to jail. Civil case, you're just trying to get paid. And a lot of times it's just somebody trying to get paid. Because in a criminal case, the investigation is a lot deeper and the burden of proof is a lot higher. Innocent until proven guilty. Whereas a legal case, it's more likely than not. Which means it's very easy for a man to get caught up and trapped and extorted for his money based on those charges, if you didn't know. P. Diddy's in the same situation. The girl he was messing with, Cassie, was an artist on his label when they began a intimate relationship. And they're using that against him as he was using his power to coerce her into doing things she didn't want to do, allegedly. Then he was dating another girl. She wasn't signed to his label, but that girl, 50 Cent's baby mother, that woman, he was paying her rent. And she couldn't afford the rent on her own. He was paying for it. Allegedly, according to her, she couldn't afford it. He was paying for it. Therefore, the only reason she kept doing the stuff that he wanted her to do, even though she didn't want to do it, according to her, is because he was paying her rent. So he was using his power to coerce her into living a life that she didn't want to live, according to what she testified in court. This is what happens, ladies and gentlemen. When a woman is scorned, they will turn against you to bring you down based on the very things that got them interested in you in the first place. Ain't that some shit? Ain't that some shit? As a matter of fact, folks, most women in these situations, if it happens from a man who doesn't have anything, you only hear about it. It doesn't become news. Because she doesn't believe there's anything to be gotten from the man. What's the point? I'm going to go through a criminal case for what? What do I get? I don't get anything. Criminal case for what? What do I get? Remember Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant got a sexual assault allegation from this girl at the hotel. Now, do we know what actually happened? In all of these cases, we don't know what really happened. We just, as he said, she said. The girl ended up bringing criminal charges to Kobe Bryant. Well, she went through the state. The state brought criminal charges against Kobe Bryant. The woman decided she didn't want to testify because she was getting doxxed. And this is back in like 2003, 2004. She was getting doxxed back then. So imagine what it would have been like now with the fan base that Kobe Bryant has. She decided that she didn't want to move forward with the trial simply because she would have had to testify and all her business would have been in the street. She didn't want to deal with it. So in exchange for dropping those charges, she got paid off by Kobe Bryant. So what'd she get? The money. Now, it didn't bring Kobe down. Most people don't even remember that part about Kobe Bryant's career, but it happened. But it made her some money and it cost Kobe some money. Now, again, Kobe claimed to his dying day that he was innocent of this situation, but what he wasn't innocent of was not reading the Carfax. What Kobe was not innocent of was he didn't read the Carfax. So, gentlemen, if you have a position of status and power, be careful who you're dealing with. Sexual assault allegations usually only happen, again, with people who have status and resources because the victim can get something if they win in a civil case. Now, if they take you to criminal court, that's a different story because they can just send you to jail. They get nothing. Usually it's both, though. They'll hit you with the criminal case, then they'll follow up with the civil case right after it. So if they can't win one, they'll win the other one. And the criminal case, all it does is present a whole bunch of evidence that now can be used against you in the civil case, and the burden of proof is a lot lower, so you're damn near guaranteeing yourself a payday. That's pretty much how it works. So if you're a person with status and material resources, especially if you know that people around you know that you have those things, if people know that you got it, so if you're a public figure and it's known that you have money, be careful dealing sexually with people who have people you have a relationship with that is based on that power, even if it's not. Kobe Bryant, it's not like he was messing with his assistant or a staffer for the Lakers. This is some random girl working at a hotel in fucking Colorado he had sex with. She used it against him. So you become a target when you're a known public figure known for having resources. You just become a target. But you can help yourself out by staying away from your staff, people who work at your company, or people who are in any way subordinate to you in your professional position. I'll give you another example. I got so many that just keep coming to me. Current coach of the Houston Rockets, as of this recording, is a guy named Ime Udoka. Ime Udoka was the coach of the Boston Celtics, and he was doing a great job coaching the Boston Celtics, but he got fired from coaching the Boston Celtics, not because the team was doing bad. They were doing great, actually. He got fired because he was having sex with someone who worked in the front office of the Boston Celtics. Some woman, married woman, he was having sex with the chick. Somehow it got found out. How it got found out, somebody was moving sloppy. Got found out, he gets fired. He goes and gets another job very quickly. But he lost his job with the Celtics. They ended up winning the championship like the year after he got fired. And he lost his girlfriend. His longtime girlfriend, a girl named Nia Long, former actress. He lost her at the same time because he publicly got found out that he had been cheating. Now, here's what I'll say about that. She might have known that he was moving around, but the fact that it got put out there publicly, she couldn't lose face by staying with him after that, so she had to dump him. That's just a theory that I'm throwing out there. Whole point is, he was moving sloppy. When you move sloppy, this kind of shit happens, folks. So when you're in this power position, that leverage that you have can be leveraged against you. That you could use that position against them to make them do things against their will. And a woman claiming that against a man with power, how does that look on a headline? How does that look in civil court? For you, man, not good. All right, that's the answer to that question. All right, have you not seen this done to a man? Okay. All that said, let's recap today's class, which is how to avoid sexual assault allegations. Again, I'm making this episode while placing a futures bet on myself that I'm not going to end up in this place. But if I do, you can just put this episode, let it go viral, and use it against me. Number one, show me the Carfax. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Who are these women you're messing with? What is their background? What is their character, makeup? You better know, and don't make a mistake. Number two, land the plane safely. All right, if you read the Carfax and land the plane safely, you'll usually be safe 99 times out of 100. All right, this is one that I've seen bring down many a man just because the woman feels embarrassed, humiliated, scorned, angry, etc. She wants a way to get revenge on you, and she will use sexual assault to bring you down while trying to take from you the very thing that got her interested in you in the first place, your status, your power, your money. Number three, careful mixing sex with power. When you're a person of power, anyone who is underneath that umbrella of power can eventually use that against you to say they were forced to do it, or they felt like they were forced to do it simply because you had power and they didn't want to lose their job, career, status, etc., etc. And in a court case, when you're the powerful man and she's this woman on the stand crying, how does that look? Optically, not good for you. All that said, go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. I will teach you the insights. I will teach you the foresight. I will teach you the character reading tools that will help you stay out of these sticky situations with people of low character, especially women who will take shit from you, even though they came to you because you had the shit in the first place, and keep yourself out of these bad cases. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. And if you're a woman, understand I will show you how to do these things when it comes to your business to make sure you're picking the right clients, picking the right customers, picking the right people to do business with so that you don't end up in these sticky situations in court one way or another. You're just getting your money. Everybody's being served. Everybody's happy. And you can do it over and over and over again. Workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre, all